Roll camera. Mics up. And action. Live from Australia, streaming around the world. The most cinematic podcast of your week awaits. This is Bottomless Popcorn with your host, Morgan Brown.
My name's Cal.
And the last movie you saw was?
Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, nice one. Did you watch that with Blake?
No, I didn't.
It was one of Blake's movies. We just did his one the other day, and that was, I think that was maybe his top movie, I think, that one.
Really?
He's quite into it. How many times do you reckon you've seen that one?
Probably between 5 and 10 times. It's good. I just didn't want to pick a Tarantino.
Yeah, no, I get it. He's one that it's he and his films, but that one specifically is one that's come up a few times. So I guess it's always pretty cool to see why everyone likes it as well, which is pretty neat. I was going to get into a bit of how we knew each other before we get started. Did you want to have a stab at that, or do you want me to try and take a quick explanation of that?
I don't know. It's been a couple of years now.
It is.
Mutual friends?
Mutual friends. And then just both kind of worked out we had a very similar appreciation for movies and cinema. And then
that's right.
Kind of worked out that before we even knew each other, you probably ended up coming into the cinema that I worked at quite a fair bit. So probably had crossed paths before we knew about each other, but didn't realise.
Absolutely. I remember there was the photo of the dog when that Jurassic Park came out.
Yeah.
Was it your dog dressed up
it
as
is.
a dinosaur?
Yeah. That's the one. Yep.
Yeah.
That was it for sure. All right. Well, we're gonna go to the movies today, Cal. We're gonna see your favorite film, but we're gonna have trailered your top 3 beside it. But if we're going to the movies, we're probably gonna make a pit stop to the candy bar. So what snacks are you gonna pick up on the way through?
All right. The must pick up is peanut M&Ms.
Sure.
I don't eat much popcorn because it gets caught in my teeth. I don't like it.
You always feel like you've immediately got to brush your teeth after
which
it.
Which is a pretty unpopular opinion, really. Probably for this podcast, especially.
Yes.
And probably just a Coke.
We're a Pepsi cinema at my cinema, Cal. So do you want to change your answer there? Or what?
Sorry, mate. Yeah, a Pepsi Max. Absolutely.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you. If you go into the movies as well, are you conscious of the theater type you're seeing it in? Do you go for the big screen, or are you going for the gold lounge where they're going to bring the food and drinks and stuff into? What are you doing when you go?
No, I don't like people bothering me when I'm at the movies, so I don't really like gold class. Yeah. I remember back in the day at Charlestown, we used to try to go to Titan every time. That was the one. We just go see whatever was on there. My friend Ben and I, who I used to go with. So I like the Titan.
Yeah, for sure. And I think now it's got recliners and stuff as well, which is kind of just upped it even more. And they've put in Dolby Atmos, the surround sound as well. So it just sounds meaner than they ever did, which is amazing. And
the sound was always good in there. And I guess now due to COVID, is it all spread out?
I think so, yeah. I think there's a reduced capacity. So whenever you buy, I think the seats immediately to your side get blocked, so you can't be sat directly next to a stranger, which works absolutely fine for me because...
Yeah, dream result.
Yes.
I'm the same. You don't want to be sitting next to anyone else.
Yeah, especially if it's a massive, massive movie too. It's a long time to sit next to someone you don't know. It's better than on an airplane, but I mean...
Absolutely.
Do you remember the first movie you ever saw at the movies?
Oh, no. I can't remember being that little.
Yeah.
Just all the usuals like Toy Story, Bugs Life, all those
the early Disney ones and stuff.
The classic early Disney and Pixar's. Yeah.
Yeah. What about at home? Do you remember watching any at home as a really young kid?
No, just watched Toy Story on VHS probably 100 times.
Yeah.
Shrek heaps back then. Yeah.
Shrek's a good one. That's been one I've been expecting someone to add to their list, but it has not come up yet. I think
I'm sure it'd be in everyone's top 10 probably, but
Sure. It's just
yeah.
missing out at the minute. Yeah. What's a movie like you remember seeing it more for the experience? Like you remember the experience of seeing it more than the actual movie?
Definitely. That's an easy one. The first Harry Potter.
Oh yeah.
I think I would have been in about year 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I was definitely in primary school, and we went on an excursion, which is like one of the best memories ever. We went into the movies in town here in Newcastle, and we saw the first Harry Potter. I'm pretty sure everyone dressed up. And we went to just a general wizard. I probably looked like Crabbe or Goyle back then. And we went to Big Al's as well for lunch. So I guess that shows how long ago it was, because
yes, it's not
been
anymore.
closed for years. But it was delicious.
The cinema's closed now too.
Yeah, well, even the cinema's gone now, sadly. But yeah, that was just such a cool experience.
Yeah, for sure. That's neat too. That would have been, I'm pretty sure they all came out around the end of the year too. So that's probably like your end of year movie day thing, right?
Yeah, it would have been a very special event, especially for a 10-year-old kid.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably the highlight of my year.
I think you kind of just answered it, I guess. Did you read the Harry Potter books as well?
I did, so I cared heaps.
Yeah. So like films based on novels or any kind of existing source material, you take notice of that kind of stuff, and you'd go check out the films?
I do like to. If I've bothered to read a book, I'll definitely go see the film, like with the Harry Potters, the Lord of the Rings, that sort of thing.
And how do you usually fall to the side of like the books?
I don't get too picky and expect the film to be as good as the book or vice versa, because they're just different generally. Obviously, if they butcher it, it's a different story, but I think it's just cool sometimes seeing the movie version. Yeah. I'm not too strict about that.
Can you think of any, like, I know that argument's pretty popular about the book being better, but is there any that you can think of where like the opposite is true, where the book is definitely the better?
Where the book's better.
Where the movie's better. Sorry.
Oh, I don't know. Like, I like those last few Harry Potter movies. I think they, like, all the effects and stuff are good, and they sort of did it justice. So
of the Harry Potters too, did your favorite book align with your favorite movie?
I think I like number 4 heaps, Goblet of Fire, because of all the like Triwizard Tournament and stuff, and being like a kid into sport, that sort of was the coolest thing. And then that movie was...
All right, I'll jump on. We'll go to your first movie trailer now, which is for the movie The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, well, I've seen it a few times. I really like just the way it's done. It's got all those cute little figurines and like props and of the hotel itself and those sorts of things. Miniature, and I really like his movies. As well, the actors are cool. It's a good story. The music's good. So I've rewatched it heaps of times, and it's a classic for me.
Yeah, nice. It's a pretty like obscure one. I don't remember it doing heaps well at the movies, but it definitely had a crowd, because I can remember before it came out, like it wasn't even like a slow burn. It just had like a lot of interest, but it never really had like, I think, as big of a crowd as it was maybe reaching for. But I can remember it coming out.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's pretty like arty and not very
it's a Wes Anderson film, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you watched it, this is more of like a technical question. Did you notice the aspect ratio stuff?
Not particularly.
No. So the movie's set across like 3 different time periods. So it makes use of whatever was the standard like aspect ratio of each of those like time periods in cinema.
Okay.
That goes from like 1.37 to 1.85 to widescreen, the really narrow one. But if you saw it at the movies, it was shown it would have looked like it was on your television. So the bars were at the top and the bottom of the screen. But it's done as like a this immersive kind of thing, I think, is the reasoning behind it, to make it feel and sit within that time period. But I honestly don't think that the average moviegoer would notice that kind of stuff, that it would be as effective as their.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I am certainly an average moviegoer, but it has an old feel to it. Definitely, like, it has a charm, and I think that's what I like the most about that movie. So it's obviously effective, even whether you notice it or not. It has that old time feel.
Yeah, it's quite cool. George Clooney is kind of a frequent collaborator of Wes Anderson too. There's an exact time code I've got for you here. At 1 hour, 25 minutes, 26 seconds, pause the movie, and you will see George Clooney as one of the shooters during the shootout.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. I did not notice it.
Yeah,
I tried to look it up on YouTube, couldn't find it, but that is a listed fact on IMDb. But I do believe it. So
I believe it. I mean, next time I watch it, I'll check it out.
It's 1 hour, 25, 26 seconds. So
I should be able to remember that.
Keep an eye
Yeah,
out
I think his movies are cool. Those all the actors always returning and stuff.
He does. He's like really big with like Bill Murray and stuff too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and like the Wilsons and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what else do I know about that one? Sorry. The movie was shot in Germany, and they all stayed at the same hotel when they were filming, and then they ended up hiring a guy from the front desk of the hotel to play one of the actors at the front desk of the hotel in the film. But he never took off work to do it, so he'd go from filming all day with them to going and working at the hotel in the evening. That's cool. He'd beat them back to the hotel at night to check them all back into their rooms, which I thought was quite cool as well.
For sure.
What film do you think has the best soundtrack? So you answer that two ways, like pop music numbers throughout it, pop songs and stuff, and then the best score, like original.
All right. Well, the best. There's sort of two that cross my mind. One is probably Shrek.
Yes.
I mean, it's a classic soundtrack, obviously.
It is. Yes.
Recently, though, maybe A Star Is Born. I love Lady Gaga. The soundtrack to it's pretty sick. Yeah.
They are good ones. What on Shrek? What stands out as the best song on that soundtrack, do you think?
Oh, well, they're all like, looking back, they're all pretty bad. Like Believer, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd probably be embarrassed liking those songs now, but when I was 10, they were good.
That was it. Yeah. 100%. And what about like original score, like orchestral music?
Well, yeah, I know in your first podcast, The Greatest Showman, came up. Definitely that's up there. That was really impressive. I was also not expecting that movie to be good, and I think I saw it at Titan and walked out thinking, whoa. Yeah,
it was quite a surprise, hey?
Yeah.
I find I usually struggle with musicals, and the fact that I even saw it was surprising to me, but the fact that I saw it and liked it was biggest surprise. Like it was really good.
Yeah, I was much the same.
What do you think's the best looking film? So that's another one you could probably take it two ways. So how it's shot and how the camera moves, that kind of stuff, or everything within the shot is just really beautiful and stands out to you?
Okay. The Secret Life of Walter Mitty is definitely probably comes to mind. Just the scenery and the way it's shot is really cool. Those overseas scenes with
in like Iceland or Greenland,
with Sean Penn in the wilderness. and where the one where Ben Stiller's like skateboarding down the hill.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. That is a good one. How about, what's the funniest film that you've ever seen?
Oh, one of my top 4 is probably the funniest, but outside of that,
Sure.
like classics like Step Brothers, Wedding Crashers come to mind.
Yep.
The Breakup as well, starring Vince Vaughn. Really funny.
Yeah. That is one I think I watched maybe within the last 9 months, I think. That come up on Netflix not long ago. And that was one I think I'd forgotten about and come back to. And I was like, no, it's really good. I agree. That is quite funny.
I'm probably going to watch it tonight now that I've remembered it. Very, very funny.
Nice. What about the opposite end? What's the saddest film that you think you've ever seen?
Oh, the last time I might have almost cried at the movies, and it was when I saw Lion.
Oh yes.
Yep.
How good.
Did you mention that in the first podcast? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I did. Yeah, it's come up as well, I think, in a few other episodes, but I think rightfully so. I think it's very good.
Yeah, it's good, but I think it was definitely a crier.
Yeah, it's a bit of a punch, I think, when it all comes together. And I think that I was saying to someone else too, like the I don't know if there's not heaps of films that are like that, but that was one that when I watched, I was kind of like, it finished and I was like, oh, excellent. But I don't understand why it was called Lion. And then it has those few title cards, which is his name has been mispronounced his entire life. And the mispronunciation was that it was Lion, not whatever his actual name, however it was actually pronounced was. And I was like, gee, that's clever. Like
that was well done, that film.
For sure. And it's Australian too. Like, I know he lived in Australia, but I'm pretty sure that's an Australian production as well.
Australian made,
awesome
yeah. I recall that being the case. Yeah.
How do you do with horror films? What's the scariest film you've ever seen?
Oh, I don't really watch them. Once when I was about 15 or 16, I went to the cinema and saw The Strangers. Sure. And that was, it makes me sick still thinking about it. Yeah. It sends a shiver down my spine. I'm pretty sure it was only like rated M or MA. It's not like too graphic or anything like that, but it's just terrifying.
Was enough to send it off.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it.
No, man, I agree. I remember I used to, when they would be on at the movies and stuff, I'd kind of be like, you sure? Like, there's 7 other options on right now that aren't horror movies. Like, I can sell you a ticket to one of them if you like.
Try to talk people out of it so that you don't have to go in there or anything.
I hated cinema checking them. If I was upstairs, I'd shut all the portholes apart from the one the actual light went through, so I couldn't see it. It was a mess, man. Yeah. And then I think I've kind of come around on some of them, but when I watch it, I'm very much going, so to make that, what they had to do was, and like trying to like break it down so it's not scary and go like,
try to remind yourself
practical level.
The film.
This had to be done like this.
It's definitely a film. It wasn't real. It's fake.
100%.
I did see like the last probably good horror movie I watched though was Get Out, and that was good.
And those I do enjoy those Jordan Peele ones he's done. Have you seen Us as well?
No.
Us is quite good as well. I'd recommend that one if you like. Get Out. I think Get Out was great. I was talking to Jordan about that one the other day, our friend, and I was saying I think for me the moment in that movie that was most like tense is it's where Chris has kind of worked out that he does need to in fact get out. And is it Rose? She's on the stairs and like she's like, you kind of know she's in on it, but like that tension hasn't broken yet. So she's kind of fiddling around with a handbag and like searching for the keys, and then the reveal is like, oh, I can't give you these keys.
When the penny drops,
horrible, like just so helpless and just like unreal. But that is a great one, and as I said, like I think you would really enjoy Us too if you like that one, so I'd recommend that one. I'll jump on to your second trailer now, which is for Drive. You'll have to tell me about this one because I thought I'd seen it and I've got it confused with The Place Beyond the Pines. So I don't think I have seen this one.
Nice. Well, I was actually torn as to which to pick between those two films. So I guess that's rather fitting. Drive's good, probably better than Place Beyond the Pines. It's a bit shorter. The soundtrack, it's probably got the best soundtrack of a movie I've seen. That's really well done. I think it's on Spotify as a playlist, so check it out or just watch the movie. But it's good. I like Ryan Gosling. And there's some other good actors in it too.
It's Bryan Cranston. I think this is like his first feature after Breaking Bad, I think.
It was around the time Breaking Bad was starting to be good. So yeah.
So I was I didn't realize he was in this. And then Carey Mulligan is in it as well.
Yeah.
But he's like he's a getaway driver, right? Or he's a stuntman in movies as a driver, and then also is a getaway driver for criminals and robbers and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And
it's pretty cool.
I imagine it's got some pretty cool car chases and stuff then, right?
There's some good like chases, some good action scenes. And the music's good.
Yeah. I looked up a little bit of trivia on this one because I hadn't seen it and I was worried I wouldn't have much to talk about. But Ryan Gosling apparently replaced Hugh Jackman.
Really?
In this movie. So I haven't seen it, but I can't really imagine Hugh Jackman in a role like this from what I read and
I
kind of looked at the trailer of it.
I can't either.
It's kind of really ill-fitting, but I don't know.
I mean, I like Hugh Jackman, but like the whole Ryan Gosling thing is just that he's like cool in this, and I don't know if Hugh Jackman would have had that.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
And he's a lot younger, I would think.
Yeah, I think Hugh Jackman's like nearly 50, and
it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work like based on the age. I would
because is Carey Mulligan the love interest too?
Yeah, someone like Jake Gyllenhaal or something would work. They're similar vibes, I guess. But yeah, interesting.
Yes. So being the main character, Ryan Gosling, and then Carey Mulligan's character, she's probably like the second lead, I think. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much.
But apparently they actually have very little to actually say to each other. Like they hardly speak or speak to one another specifically during the entire film. So a lot of their scenes is based on a mood. They've been directed by told the mood or the feeling should be this, and they kind of just sit there and kind of stay pretty stone-faced about it, and just, which I thought was an interesting little.
Yeah, there's definitely
not
much dialogue between them and even between the other characters.
Is it noticeable? Like, do you think on a first view you would have noticed that they're actually not talking that much, or
possibly not? I mean, I didn't. It's just they let the action and the music do the talking, really, and the mood.
So that decision to take out a lot of the dialogue was a decision between Ryan Gosling and the director, which is Nicholas Winding Refn, who he also made Place Beyond the Pines. Is that right?
I'm not sure, but it wouldn't surprise me because there's aspects that are similar. Definitely.
After that decision was made, Bryan Cranston was brought on, and he pointed out that like people might find it difficult to justify or sit through a film with very little dialogue. So a lot of the dialogue ended up being replaced or displaced and given to his character instead to kind of make up for the absence of it through other characters. But by the sound of it, he isn't a major character in the film. He's only in a handful of scenes.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of works though, because Ryan Gosling, without giving it away, he's just like a brooding type, cool stunt guy.
Yeah. And is this, you said you do enjoy Ryan Gosling films. Like, what are some of the other ones that you'd probably say sit on your list if you could have had more?
Definitely Place Beyond the Pines. I love that movie. It's probably like one of my most watched movies. But I just went for Drive. It's a bit long, but I like it. And
because it's kind of like two stories in one movie, really.
Yeah, it's kind of got three.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like sort of in thirds, I think. I don't know about time-wise, but it's got the three different stories. Yeah.
No, cool. Have you seen The Nice Guys? The Ryan
It's
Gosling,
good,
Russell
hey?
Crowe. I liked it. That was one I think I saw at the movies when it initially came out and kind of forgot about, but I've just seen it come around on television again.
Yeah, is it on the apps or anything? Because I'd watch it. It's
I have
pretty
a feeling
fun.
it's a Netflix one, I think, at the minute. Yeah, it is. It's really good. It's one I don't think I expected much from either when I went in and kind of come out pleasantly surprised I had bothered to see it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, nice.
If movies start winning awards or getting really good reviews and stuff, is that something you take notice of? Like, would you see films based off their review or their
Not necessarily. I mean, I like to sort of watch anything, and I don't think I have good taste. So I might really like something and it might bomb, or I might see an award-winning movie and think it's pretty ordinary. But I definitely find it interesting what does win and things like that. It's an interesting concept. I don't get around all the award shows or anything, but I'll sort of read it in the news, and it won't make me see something or stop me from seeing something.
Yeah, sure. I'd really like to do a sports bet multi one year on the Oscars or something like that, just to see how well I go, because I really don't think my opinion would line up too well with
the
those
people
kind
that
of films. Yeah.
Yeah, mine would be full of red crosses. Definitely.
I think so. What's a movie that you can't believe you haven't seen yet?
Oh, there's heaps. Actually, that's the bit easy. Inception.
Oh, you're kidding?
Yeah, I've just
really
never watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just must have watched it when it was out at the movies, and then I've always it's never been the right time to watch it on Netflix or something like that. So I've delayed it, and then I just haven't seen it.
Yeah. Is it one do you think you plan on coming around to see it, or are you just a bit it'll happen if it happens?
I know one day I have to watch it. That's the way I see it. But I just haven't got there yet. It'll be I think it'll be a Sunday afternoon with some Dominoes, but I don't want to be too hungover. I want to be able to sort of focus and not sleep. And one day.
I think so. It'll be I think it gets a bit of a bad rap in the sense of how people talk about how there's too much going on and you really need to. I don't think it's as complicated as it's
well, it's not as bad as Tenet is, but I haven't seen Tenet, but it's not that complex.
No, I don't think so. I just I think it gets a bit of a hard time, and I don't think I think it's definitely more straightforward than Tenet. Okay. But I don't know if I'm saying that out of the reasoning that I've seen it before, so I know what's going on. Maybe going in absolutely dry is a different story. But I do think Inception gets a pretty hard time, Is there a movie you've seen and you really loved, but you've rewatched it recently and you kind of had a change of opinion on it?
Oh, I'm not sure. The only movies I rewatch are things that I know I love, and I've watched them to death. So all my picks and all those comedies I mentioned before, and all the Harry Potters, I would have seen them all 5 times each. And I don't rewatch stuff if I don't love it. So I haven't really changed my mind on anything.
Sure.
Not lately. Yeah.
What movie, we were kind of just saying before, I guess, with The Greatest Showman, but what's a movie that really surprised you? You did go in with no expectations, but came out, pleasantly surprised you had taken the time to see it.
Yeah. I probably, there's probably 2 that stick out, Get Out. I was just thinking, this is going to be a violent, lame horror, and it was a really cool story. Yeah. And then, A Star Is Born. The Greatest Showman. A Star Is Born. I was heaps impressed by the story, heaps impressed by the songs. I like Bradley Cooper, so it was pretty pretty good.
Yeah. I always think like those kind of concert films too. Like, I don't know if I'd say that's a musical, A Star Is Born, but just I don't know, that kind of aspect of how it's shown, and like, I don't know, have you ever been to the movies to see like an actual concert, a recorded concert on the big screen or anything?
No.
I think given the fact you can't go at the minute, it's I've not seen one for that reason, but I think if you went right now, it'd be pretty cool, because that's definitely as close as you're going to get to getting at least the audio experience of a concert and stuff like that.
For a little while. Oh, I might have seen like the Parkway movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's a bit different. It's not. Yeah. That sort of thing's pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah. I just think like just A Star Is Born was kind of like that, you know, like it had a lot of those live performances.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm pretty sure from a lot of like accounts and stuff, that film actually, they are performing them live. It's not, they're not miming it, and it's been tried to be like matched to it later, which I think kind of makes it all the better too, which is really cool.
I think I read that.
What's a film you've seen, but like just seeing it the once you think was enough? You don't feel an immediate or any urge to come back and watch that one again?
Oh, definitely like longer films. Anything that's too long, because nowadays getting older, it just takes like too long to watch it. If I'm watching it on Netflix and stuff, at the movies, you just don't have that choice. I don't know off the top of my head. I like the Star Wars and stuff like that. I'm not a massive Star Wars fan, so I would always just watch them because that's what you do, and then I wouldn't need to go back to them.
Yeah, just see them once, just say you have, and then kind of move on, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll jump on to your third and your final trailer. This is In Bruges. Came out in 2008, directed by Martin McDonagh. Tell me about this one. How's this one earn its position on your list?
It's just the funniest movie that I've ever seen. Yeah, I love it. I think I watched it last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I probably watch it every couple of months, but
yeah,
it's just really good.
It is. I've only seen this once. I think I saw this when I was in high school, and I do remember enjoying it. But I think my takeaway was they said "fuck" a lot in this movie.
Yeah, I think it's just the Irishness of the characters.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. So much so about the word "fuck." It's said 126 times in the movie's 107-minute runtime. That averages to 1.18 fucks per second. I thought it was quite cool.
Yeah.
The film is also largely shot, I'm pretty sure, on the location, like in Bruges.
It certainly appears it appears that way. I haven't been there, but it looks really nice.
But set at Christmas too?
Yeah, I think. I mean, yeah, I think it's snowy. Would it be snowing in Bruges in Christmas?
I'm sure it was set at Christmas. My question was just going to be like, is it a Christmas movie to you? If it was,
it's certainly not a Christmas movie. It's not. No, I don't watch it every Christmas, and it doesn't give off big Christmas vibes.
No, it's one of the funnier things that I've definitely seen Colin Farrell do as well. And who's he? It's Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah,
he's partnered with in it. Yeah, which seems like such an odd pairing just to look at and see like those two in a film. I think to begin with. They are both Irish, I'm pretty sure, to begin with.
I think so.
Pretty sure. But it's not the kind of thing I would expect to see those two faces on a poster and have it be a comedy. And particularly then even have it be one you would enjoy too. But
I know.
I do think this is a really cool one, hey?
Their chemistry is probably like one of the best things about the film too, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The it's directed Martin McDonagh, who went on to do films like Seven Psychopaths and Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Yeah.
And I think he is more known for theater, writing plays and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure his scripts are always really, really tight. I don't think it's a comedy too, which is kind of what surprised me. I kind of associate those with having lots of improv and stuff in them. But I think this is pretty tightly scripted, and they're just reading his words and stuff too, which I think is really, really cool.
I mean, that's even more impressive that it's so funny then.
Absolutely, yeah.
But he has obviously a very dark sense of humor. Those other 100%. Movies are great as well, and they're so funny.
Yeah.
And 100%. Pretty bleak as well at the same time.
Yeah, they're very kind of very somber stories, very kind of small, intimate stories, I guess. But
yeah,
they definitely have a point. I'll move on. I've got a couple more questions before we get on to your main feature, Cal. Who plays Callen Farmer in the Callen Farmer biopic?
I'd love to say Ryan Gosling, but the truth is probably Adam Sandler.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'd take either of them or anyone really.
Sure.
I'm hoping that film doesn't get made, because if it does, it probably means that something messed up's happened.
Yeah, it'll be focusing on the entire lifespan, not just the unique moment, I think. Do you have a favorite line or a quote from any film?
Probably out of In Bruges, where they're at a bar and he says, one gay beer for my gay friend and one normal beer for me because I'm normal. It's pretty funny. I guess you wouldn't, a joke like that wouldn't really be around much these days, but in 2008, that was obviously
that
the
was
done thing.
For sure. Do you have a favorite character from film?
Oh, I like The Gentleman. And Matthew McConaughey's character.
Yep.
I mean, all the characters in that movie are pretty funny, but yeah.
Yeah. I did an episode with Blake the other day, our friend Blake.
Yeah.
And I asked him this, and amazingly, he started to do the accents and everything when he started quoting them and talking about them, which was perfect.
I look forward to hearing that. I wouldn't attempt such a thing, but I'm sure Blake will nail it.
Mate, when you hear his Hugh Grant touching that barbecue, amazing. Do you have a favorite filmmaker? Whatever they're making doesn't matter to you. You're going to go see it because they've made it.
Definitely, Wes Anderson, and Tarantino. I like all these movies.
So you've probably already got The French Dispatch is his next one coming out, I think, for Wes Anderson.
Yeah, I didn't see that Isle of Dogs movie either, but
okay.
I really like.
That's the claymation one, right?
Yeah. But yeah, I like his stuff, and
sure,
he has a cool style.
And what film? This one, I contemplate whether or not putting it in every week and stuff. And what film do you think has the best ending?
Well, I mean, off the top of my head, I don't want to ruin any films for anyone either.
Yeah, that's why I think about this one sometimes.
I like the ending of The Gentleman.
Yeah.
But even films with a nice ending are cool. Place Beyond the Pines, I sort of like that. There's I think from memory, the last scene, he just, I can't say what happens, but there's a good song playing and it's sort of a nice sentiment. The ending's nice.
Yeah,
and that
gives you a good feeling to walk out on.
Yeah, because that's kind of rare. Usually there's just a crazy twist or something, and so that can be nice too.
Do you think endings that have twists, do you think they leave people on a bit more of a sour note because the kind of rug's been pulled out from under them? Would you prefer, your ideal movie, are you going out on a happy note, or do you enjoy kind of the twist at the end of a movie?
I like it when there's when it turns at the end. I mean, the whole point of a movie is entertainment, really.
Yes.
So I'm not invested in it, and I like when it's done cleverly and pulled off. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. This is your last question before we move on to your feature film. But do you have a film that you just watch on like special occasions, Christmas, birthdays, things like that?
Not so much those occasions, but if I have a female guest,
yes,
at my residence.
All right, give me a second. I'm going to get a pen out and take some notes here.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I usually Gone Girl or get him to the Greek.
Sure.
I don't know why, but yeah. I mean, and it's my housemate Nathan, who I live with. I remember one night we were living together, and I could just hear his Get Him to the Greek playing, and my Get Him to the Greek playing.
Slightly out of sync.
Yeah.
Someone was slightly ahead of the other.
Yeah.
Very good. This kind of has nothing to do with it, but only because you said Get Him to the Greek did it remind me of it. But this video came up on YouTube the other day, and it was about it's just so random, man. This has nothing to do with movies. I don't even know why I'm talking about this. But I was talking about Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah.
And it was this comedian, I forget his name, but his whole argument was basically that Machine Gun Kelly is like a movie star or a rock star, but one in movies, like not a real one. Like he has all the things that make them a rock star.
Yeah.
But you just see it and you're like, no.
He is kind of like a caricature. I get it. Yeah.
But his reference was Get Him to the Greek and Russell Brand playing Aldous Snow.
He's Aldous Snow. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I'm sorry, that has nothing to do with this, but
no, I like it.
I laughed at that.
He's definitely suspect, so I think it's a fair comment.
Let's move on to the feature film, which is No Country for Old Men. Is this one you saw theatrically when it came out?
I don't think I saw it at the movies.
Yeah,
which is a shame, because it would have been impressive.
Yeah,
definitely.
Can you remember like your immediate reaction the first time you saw this film?
I read the book and I like his books, and I was really.
This is Cormac McCarthy. Right? Yeah,
and he's got a really weird writing style. But yeah, the movie is just so great. I don't think I'll ever get sick of watching it. The villain is just done so well. He's such a scary character.
Javier Bardem's character.
Yeah.
I think this is like one of the best like slow burn movies too. Like it really kind of has a pace, just takes its time. It's not doing anything like too flashy or anything like that. It's just like a really rewarding movie to watch. Like I think it's perhaps for a lot of like casual people just watching that, it might seem like it's going nowhere, but I really think that is a really rewarding movie to watch entirely if you can. I think it's brilliant. It's a Coen brothers film as well. Yeah. Do you rate their work, or is this just like a standout one to you?
I think I love this movie, and like I like the book, so I was always going to be interested in it.
For the film too, another film came out around the same time and was shot extremely close to the film There Will Be Blood.
And
there's a scene in that film where one of the oil wells kind of blows out and catches fire, and it just kind of plumes off a lot of black smoke. And they weren't shooting, but they were testing the fire and smoke effects, which caused No Country for Old Men to shut down for a day due to the direction the smoke traveled just kind of blew through and shut them down for a day. So the apparently a year later at the Academy Awards, he was thanked in the Coen brothers speech when they won an award for shutting them down for a day.
That's pretty cool. Gave them a day off.
Yes. Yeah. And I've seen this a couple of times, and I I don't remember noticing it any of the times that I saw it. It didn't seem immediate or like, to me, I didn't notice it, I guess. But it has a lack of like music. There's almost it has Carter Burwell did the original score for the film. There's actually only 16 minutes of score within the film, and I don't think a lot of it's music. I think a lot of it is just like sounds and tones to create a little bit of a rhythm, but it's not, I don't think it's like classical music. But I think I didn't notice it, but I kind of think, looking back now that I do know about it, that I think it's part of what makes that slow burn really work too.
Definitely.
Like, it doesn't rely on other media to propel it or shift it in directions that it doesn't want to go. I think it's really clever.
100%. I think it's definitely a good technique that they've used to do that, to let the story sort of drive itself.
It's you were just saying before too about Javier Bardem's character being just one of the best evil, like, villain characters in a film. And there was I didn't believe this, but I did a Google, and it is true. So in 2018, a Business Insider group of psychiatrists studied 400 movies and identified 126 psychopathic characters. But Javier Bardem's portrayal of Anton is the most clinically accurate to a psychopath, which I thought was fucking terrifying, because I agree with you, and I think it's pretty chilling to watch. And I think his weapon of choice is just fucking cruel.
Yeah, for sure.
Pretty gnarly, and not something you've seen in any other films before. But
yeah,
it's different for sure. Is there anything else about that one that like really stands out to you as being spectacular, and why it's your number one film?
No, not overly. I just think it's just a classic, and I've always liked it, and you never get sick of rewatching it.
Yeah.
It's just a good story.
For sure. I've got two more. One's a question and one's a bit of something else for you. Between now and the end of the year, is there anything you're kind of really looking forward to seeing?
Pretty much, yeah, the new Bond.
No Time to Die.
I mean, I haven't been to the movies for a long time, and it used to be my favorite thing. I'm really looking forward to getting back there, and I think that'll be a good film.
First one back.
Good film to do it, for sure.
Yeah. What was the last thing you saw at the cinema before we kind of got locked down?
Honestly, I can't remember. Like, maybe I saw The Gentleman and in Chatswood, I think, and then I saw The Joker at this really cool old cinema in Cremorne called Hayden Orpheum. It's a really old cinema.
Did you go to one of the film showings, like the 70mm presentations?
It wasn't, no. It didn't have all that. It was just the movie, but it was really like a scary old cinema, and it was like a pretty depressing movie. So it was really cool.
Yeah. Did you rate the movie though? I know that's one that's pretty divided. It. Yeah.
I liked it. It was a pretty raw look at, I guess, those themes though. Yeah. I think I was hungover and I left feeling more hungover and pretty depressed.
Sure. All right. I've gone on the internet, Cal, and I've used one of your 4 favorite movies to find a 1-star review. I've taken out all the mentions, or as many as I could, so that it still made some sense. And I was going to see if you could guess the film and then defend it from this 1-star review. Awesome. So the title of this review is just rubbish.
Yeah.
My least favorite director of all time. He's only liked by yuppies of the world. All of his movies suck. This was awful. My grandma liked it. Quirky, apparently. And well, all I could say to her after that was, okay, boomer. Except it wasn't a thing at the time this came out. Terrible. The characters are really annoying and the plot is fucking stupid. What movie is this?
I'm very confident that it's the Grand Budapest Hotel.
You would be correct.
And all those things are probably accurate, but I guess I'm just a yuppie.
I guess I'll reply that and let them know. You can defend this one from them? Can you set them straight on a few of their points?
I'm not sure I can. I probably agree. But I think all the characters are pretty... I mean, he is quirky. I guess that's his charm. But I wouldn't go as far as saying quirky. I would just say he's clever and arty. And the characters are funny. Ralph Fiennes' character's heaps funny.
Yeah.
It's well made. But no, I think that's pretty funny criticism.
Perfect. I'll submit this clip to them and let them know what you said. That's it, Cal. Thanks so much for doing that, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks,
we had a good time.
Great to talk to you.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Bottomless Popcorn. For bonus content, news, and upcoming guests, follow us on Instagram at Bottomless Popcorn Pod. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. If you'd like to contact the show, you can email us at bottomlesspopcornpod@gmail.com. And be sure to leave a review of your own favorite film wherever you listen to podcasts.